a number of liberal critics of the reform conservatism have looked at it and said it doesn't really seriously depart from conservative ideology, and they see it as reform conservatism should be forcefully attacking the Tea Party. And what do you have to say to that?
I very much disagree with that. I'm glad they think it's not a departure from conservative ideology. It's certainly not a departure from conservative ideology. It's an application of it to the country's problems. I think of what's being called reform conservatism as fundamentally an attempt to move the Republican Party to the right, not to the left. It's a response not to the Tea Party, but to an attitude among Republicans in Washington that has tried over the last decade or so, and in some ways much longer than that, to find ways to just live with the liberal welfare state as it is and maybe pay a little less for it, maybe take a little bit off the top of the cost of the federal government as we know it. What the conservative approach to government says is that that basic approach, the liberal welfare state, that begins from a sense that it's the government's job to manage and run our country's institutions, is not going to work. It's founded on a misimpression about what American society is. It's founded on some very large mistakes about how politics works and how human communities work. And conservatism points in a different direction, which means that the Republican Party, if it's going to be the conservative party in our country, has to offer an actual agenda that looks quite different, and that looks more conservative, not less. So I take it as a good sign that people like E.J. Dionne or other critics from the left say, well, this doesn't look like centrism. This doesn't look like they're moving in our direction. It's not an attempt to move in their direction. It's an attempt to move in a more constructive direction for conservatism to help solve the country's problems.